All right, welcome in everyone. Welcome to the live stream and the simulcast. So whether you're tuning in on TikTok or YouTube, I am here for you. So welcome in. Pardon me. Welcome in to Find Out Friday, where we're going to go through all the different TikTok guidelines to make sure you are following the rules that you need to follow and that you're not following anything that is inaccurate. So we're going to take a few minutes to get people in this room. Make sure you are tapping on that screen if you're on TikTok. Make sure you like it on the live if you're on YouTube, and you start sharing it out to everyone to get everyone in here. Okay. So what we're going to do from everybody out here in the comments, what I want to see on a scale of from 1 to 10, with 10 being fabulous. Let me know how you're doing today. All right. Again, you can find me here or you can find me on YouTube. I'm on either one. And I got some really cool stuff over on the Tube of Fly. Thank you so much. Oh, thank you so much for the team bracelets and the heart me. Welcome in, everyone. Yummy, yummy. Well, I appreciate that so much. I appreciate that so much. And if you're over there on YouTube, yes, you're going to get to hear some of the sounds that's coming from my TikTok. And when I figure out how to put it over there on YouTube, you guys will get the same sounds when we get monetized. Hello, socio people. Welcome in, everybody. Let me know on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being fabulous, how you are doing today. So TikTok, you're on my phone today. You are not on my desktop. I had to use the desktop um for the tube of light, but here we are. All right. So let me know if you can hear me. Yes, I guess you can hear me. So yes, Socio, you are a 6. We'll go with a clap. We'll go with a small clap. All right. It is Friday, right? It is Find Out Friday. So we are going to find out all the different rules and guidelines that we need to follow here on TikTok to make sure that we are not getting restricted, making sure that we are not getting our posts pulled, making sure that we are doing everything we can to grow this platform and get monetized. So before we get started, let me know how you guys are doing. I see Socio is at a 6. And then let me know what questions you guys have about TikTok so I can make sure to try to integrate them into this topic. All right, we got some more apples from Socio. Mmm, yummy. Thank you so much, Socio. It's so yummy. It's so yummy. All right, so make sure we tap it on. All right, thank you. We're already at 50%. Make sure we are tapping on that live and we are sharing out the growth. I guess I can't say tapping on a live, which I think we can. But let's show the screen some love, y'all. You too. Show that little thumbs up, some love. Okay. So make sure we are doing what we need to do to get this word out. Make sure we are spreading the word to everyone that we need to see it. Okay. So TikTok rules. Let's get started and let's get ready to rumble. Okay, so we're going to start from the beginning. All right, if you guys want to follow along with the screen share will be on the YT. Otherwise, I'll still be speaking clearly and I'll speak slow enough for you guys to take notes if you would like to take notes. And I'll be able to answer questions from both sides. All right. So let's go ahead and share this screen over here to you guys on the tube of Y. And let's see. I gotta get it. There it is. All right. On the tube of Y, you guys now the have the screen share. And welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. All right. So we are going to start from the beginning because TikTok tells us exactly what their TikTok tells us exactly what their goals and their purpose are. All right. So when we talk about the different types of content violations that you can have, all right, TikTok gives us 3 categories. All right. When it comes to this content violation, there are 3 types of moderations that you can have. 3 types of moderations you can have. All right. The most severe is removing the content completely. All right. This is that content that they do not allow. And last week we talked about some of those things that they do not allow. They do not allow alcohol, right? They do not allow harm coming to people. And we're going to go through these rules once again. But if it's something that they absolutely do not allow, such as partial nudity of children and things like that, they're going to remove that altogether with no ifs, ands, or buts. All right, no pun intended. Okay. The second thing that they do not allow, or is the second way that they're going to give you some type of violation or moderate you, is to restrict your content. Okay. If it's something that is allowed but is not suitable for youth, then they will restrict your content and just make it so that it's ineligible for people under 18 to see your content. Right. That's not a bad thing, but it is there. One of the ways you can also avoid getting this restriction is to go ahead if you know it's going to be content, and we're talking about content, not lies, but same thing for lies. If you know we're going to be discussing things that are inappropriate for people under 18, go ahead and switch that post visibility and switch that live visibility to 18 and above. All right. That way, it's not going to say restricted or anything, but if you do continue to violate those guidelines, then they will, again, still remove it if you're still doing something you're not supposed to do. Thank you so much for the heart, me. Hey, Dee, welcome in. All right. The third type of moderation is the least restrictive, and that's just making your content ineligible for FYP. What does that mean for you? That means if you're doing things that are kind of still going against the community guidelines, but it's not that serious, it's not really. All right, I'll see you. I'll see you tonight. Thank you so much. If you're still doing things that are going against the community guidelines, but it's not that serious, they're just going to restrict it from the FYP, which means they're not going to push you out. So the only way people are going to see your content is if you have your friends who are going to push it out for you, your followers pushing it out for you. So right now, I do currently have a post that is restricted from the FYP because it had a little bit too much sexual innuendos in it, which I figured that was going to happen. So after 24 hours, that post is sitting at 76 views. But, I had to push the limits to see how far I could go. All right. So again, three types of moderation that YouTube gives you, or not YouTube, that TikTok gives you. All right. The most severe is restriction. When you are just doing something that totally violates their guidelines, they don't allow it at all. They're going to take it off your platform. It's gone. All right. The next one down, all right, next one downgrade is restricting it to people that are above 18. So if it's something that's just inappropriate for minors and you haven't labeled it that way, they're going to restrict it for that age group. Okay. And then lastly, the least restrictive is making it ineligible for the FYP, where they're not going to push it out. It's going to sit there at low views unless your followers are the ones pushing it out and sharing it for you. Okay, so that's where we are with the type of moderation that that TikTok does. If you have any questions about that, drop those in the comments. And if you're learning anything, even though we just started, go ahead and press 1 in those comments so I can see. Press 1 in the chat, YouTube, so I can see that you guys are learning something. All right. Excellent. All right, welcome in, everyone. If you're just coming in, we are talking about these TikTok guidelines. We just did an overview of the three types of way that TikTok moderates us. So, yay, Socio Peep. I see that one. I see that one. Okay, so let's talk about these principles, right? We're always talking about what does TikTok want, right? What does TikTok want from us? What is their mission? What is their goal? And understanding their core principles and what they value will help you create content that aligns with their mission. Okay? All right. So when we talk about TikTok, right, their community principles work on three primary categories. All right. And again, this is coming directly from their community guidelines. So if you want to see the screenshots of what I'm looking at, go ahead over to my YouTube. The link is in my bio, but I am reading to you directly from the community guidelines. And it says TikTok has 8 community principles that are broken down into 3 categories. The first category is balancing harm prevention and expression. Okay. 2, embracing human dignity, and 3, ensuring our actions are fair. So those are the 3 categories, and I am going to say it one more time. Okay, I'm going to say it one more time. Okay, TikTok, right? They want to balance harm prevention and expression, right? So you get the freedom of expression as long as it's not harming someone too much. So they're trying to weigh the costs and consequences of that. All right. 2, embracing human dignity. So that goes to the bullying, and all those other things. Thank you so much for those hashtags, Claw. Right. And the third one, ensuring actions are fair. So they look at it and they take other things into context when they are deciding how to moderate your content. Okay. So let's break down these 8 principles so that you can have a better understanding of what TikTok wants from us. All right. So principle number 1, if you're taking notes, make sure you're writing this down. Principle number 1. All right. They want to prevent harm, right? That is number 1, right? Their primary focus is keeping TikTok a safe place for joy. How do they do this? Well, they take information, they get all of their guidelines from several places. 1, the UN guiding principles on business and human rights. 2, the International Bill of Human Rights. 3, the Convention on the Rights of Children. And 4, the Santa Clara Principles. All of these are hyperlinked in the community guidelines, but these are the national and international guidelines that guide them and that inform their policies they have on this platform. All right. And when you hear that, and when you hear that is what's guiding them, some of their restrictions start to make more sense. Okay. For better or for worse, the restrictions start to make sense, especially how they are evaluating content. All right. So TikTok, number 1, wants to prevent harm. So their primary focus is keeping TikTok safe, right? Keep it safe and a place for joy. So this is what they said. We consider the many ways that content or behavior may impact our diverse community. This includes individual physical, psychological, financial, and privacy harms, as well as societal harms. All right. They are working towards striking the right balance between free expression, but they restrict the content only when necessary in a way that seeks to minimize the impact on speech. All right. So even when they are trying to prevent harm, they're still trying to have the least impact on free speech. Okay. That leads us to guide to principle number 2, enabling free expression. Okay. So they want to have our creativity unlocked. They want us to express ourselves. They want us to empower our community, right? But that freedom of expression is not an absolute right. And one of the things I have heard over the course of the last couple of days and many, many, many lives is people being upset on both sides that their freedom of speech, their First Amendment right, is being tapered or tampered with on all the different social platforms. Welcome in. Welcome in everyone. Welcome in. Um, Welcome in Crystal. Welcome in King. Welcome in Ty. All right, welcome in everyone. All right. And the reason that they can inhibit that freedom of speech, because the freedom of speech is a right given to us by the government, but it doesn't mean it's freedom from consequences. So you can use your creativity, you can have the freedom to speak, but if that speech becomes harmful, which is their number 1 principle, hey Roswell, if it becomes harmful, then they're going to restrict that. Okay? So when they have to start balancing these things, they're going to make sure they are upholding the most important, or the principle that's the highest in the hierarchy. I'm doing well. I hope you're doing well on a scale of 1 to 10. All right. So that is principle number 2. So first principle is preventing harm. The second principle is enabling freedom of expression. as long as it doesn't cause too much harm. All right, so that's what you have to keep in mind when TikTok is giving us these violations or when they're restricting us. All right, they have to keep all these different things in perspective. They have to make sure all of these things are balanced. All right. Number three, principle number three is fostering civility. All right. This is exactly what they say, straight from their guidelines. Civility creates respect between people and helps communities thrive. Right. The way we engage with each other online can sometimes threaten the positive interactions with others. So being civil on TikTok is critical to fulfilling our mission. All right. So they still want us to be civil. We can have discourse, we can have debate, but they want us to be civil and respectful. Now, am I saying that they follow through on these guidelines all the time with AI, things like that? No, I'm not saying that. But this is what they're saying. If you follow these guidelines, you're least likely to get those moderations. You're least likely to get those restrictions. Okay. So for TikTok, what that means is that they acknowledge everyone's inherent dignity and conduct ourselves as if we're face to face. And to ensure a space for expression, they do allow some latitude for social critique of public figures. All right. Yes, go ahead. What is that question, King? I love having questions. Let's go. I'll let you type it, and then once you get it typed up, I'll come back and answer it for you. Okay. Awesome. So, three principles so far: preventing harm, enabling free expression, and fostering civility. Okay, you said you got a violation for a few comments that I made. Um, do that count against you? Yes. Um, if it was a violation and not a warning, they start to rack up points. I have to go into the guidelines to know exactly for how many points you need in order to um, your get your platform taken down right away or get it taken down permanently for an extended period of time. But they do start to rack up points. When you go into your uh, TikTok studio and you go into managing your content and you can check for your violations, they will tell you whether or not you got a point for those violations. Sometimes it's just a warning and you don't get those points. Hey, Fast, welcome in. All right. So if you thank you for the heart, me. So they tell you exactly how many points you have and how many strikes you have left. So, and I want to say it's on either a 30 or 60-day cycle. When we get to that part, I'll double check because I don't want to give you misinformation. But I do know that at some point, some of those violations do drop off. Okay. Um, so whether it's comments or in your post, or even if you're talking in a live, those all do tend to accumulate. Okay, you think it was a few warnings and a violation? Yeah, they like to warn us first. What happens is, yeah, and it says comment removed. Yeah. So what happens is that they warn you, they'll remove the content. You can appeal it if you want to, but if you repeatedly start violating that community guideline and they're constantly warning you, eventually it's going to turn into an actual violation where you get a point. All right. So they do try to help us out if it's something that's not like uber serious. So when we talk about those three types of content restrictions, uh, they're going to give us a chance before we actually get to that point. Welcome in, mindset. Welcome in. Oh, good. Thank you for the rose. It smells so good. Ooh. Hey, Mo. Welcome in. Thank you for the heart, me. Okay. So far we discussed three principles that guides TikTok. All right. Preventing harm, enabling free expression, and fostering civility. All right. And remember, they have to balance this. So if your freedom of expression, thank you, love. Thank you, love. If your freedom of expression is inhibiting or harming someone else, oh, thank you for the apples, Rosina. Yum, yum, yum. Okay. Thank you so much. If your freedom of expression is harming someone else, then your freedom of expression is going to be restricted because their number one principle is protecting other individuals. It's preventing that harm. So that is what they're balancing. Yeah, that was something that I wanted to appeal. Exactly. And yeah, it is thank you so much. Thank you for joining the team, the real Rosina. All right. And that is something that we have to, decide. Are we going to appeal things? Is it worth appealing? If you know you're probably kind of in the wrong, is it worth appealing it just for it to get denied? Right? Right. Number four, respecting the local context. What on earth does that mean? Right? Okay. So again, this is directly from their community guidelines, and respecting the local context for them means to that TikTok brings together over 1 billion people over across 150 countries. Okay, into this shared space. All right. So we're bringing people around from all the different countries. Every country has its own culture, and they have their different contexts of what they think is right, what is wrong, what is culturally acceptable, what's not culturally acceptable. Okay, that's me paraphrasing. Okay, TikTok works with regional experts to understand for different communities to understand those local contexts so that they can understand what things harm different parts of the global communities and what things do not. Okay, so they allow for regional applications of their guidelines. So this makes a lot of sense. Remember, on in the US, thank you for the rose. Smells so good. Remember, well, you guys may not remember, there was a time where I was saying when I was battling someone, I'm sitting here trying to drink my Gatorade off screen, but the person I was battling, all right, was in a different country, and she had a full glass of wine just sitting there chugging it. All right, that's regional differences because alcohol means something different to different regions, to different cultures, where it's not so glorified like it is in the United States. So them drinking on screen isn't a big deal. So therefore, they're not going to apply the same restrictions to those countries as they would to us in the United States. Does that make sense? Drop a one in the chat if that makes sense now. And while you do that, I'm going to go ahead and set up another goal for y'all. And thank you guys so much for helping me hit that goal. I'll hit the applause in about a second here. All right. Thank you guys so much. All right. So let's go ahead and, let's see. Bracelets. Gobble, gobble. It will not give me gobble gobble. So I will just pick one. All right, let's do some corn. Corn doesn't have any sound effects, but I'll fix that in a little bit. Okay. So if that makes sense of how they apply restrictions differently, how some content creators can do certain things other content creators can't, they're looking at the local context of that culture and they apply the rules differently. So no one said life is fair, right? They're trying to make it as balanced and fair for everyone. Okay. So far, if you're just coming in, we are talking about. Oh my gosh, you guys! No, thank you so much. Thank you so much. One chord. Oh, because I forgot to set the number. Hey, hey. We're just crushing goals today, y'all. We're just crushing goals. Let's try that one more time. Let's put more than one chord up there. Let's go, guys. And so far, let's go ahead. Let's do those heart puffs. Let's turn it to that. Let's see. Let's see if we can keep this up here for a little bit longer. But thank you guys so much. You guys are crushing it. You guys are crushing it. Okay. So if you're just coming in, yeah, I do it so much, right, Tara? We are talking about. Oh my goodness! Thank you for the subscription, Socio. Thank you so much. Okay. So we are talking about TikTok's community guidelines. All the information I'm giving you is directly from their guidelines. Since I'm working from my phone, I can't share the screenshots with you. But if you want to see what I'm talking about as I'm talking about it, I also have this on YouTube. So I have the screenshots over on YouTube. I'm sharing my screen. So you can go to either platform. You're going to get the same information. Right now, look, I think I have one person over here on YouTube. Yay! And I have 4 comments. It's Crystal. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, let me get back to doing my job here, y'all. Okay, let me get back to doing my job. So we are talking about these guidelines. Okay, we are talking about how TikTok sets up their structure and how they apply and balance these different guidelines and principles for us. All right, thank you guys so much. Okay, so again, the first principle that we covered was prevention of harm. That is number one. If anything, nothing else outweighs the prevention of harm. So all these other principles, if they impede on this first principle, that's the principle that's going to get the least priority. Okay, so they're trying to balance the the different types of principles and where they are in the context of the situation. So prevention of harm, enabling free expression, fostering civility, and we just finished discussing respecting the local context. Okay. Do we have any questions for those first four? All right, go ahead and type those in the chat if you do. The fifth principle of TikTok is that they are a champion of inclusion, right? They are a champion of inclusion. And Crystal, let me know how you like my little pop-ups for each of these topics. I got some cool things going on over here on the tube of live that I'm playing with y'all. This is my first time simulcasting from for both. It's my first time really streaming to YouTube using like a streaming service. So I'm kind of having some fun on both platforms over here, y'all. Okay. So for champions of inclusion, okay, is that TikTok wants people from around the world to feel welcome in their platform. All right. That makes sense. They are a business, right? They want people to feel welcome, right? So they value and they celebrate different cultures, identities, appearances, viewpoints, interests, and experiences. They know that some communities historically have been afforded fewer opportunities for engagement. So they are committed to the principle of equality and mitigating harms that disproportionately affect marginalized groups. Now, my opinion, okay? We're going to take this out and we're going to say my opinion real fast. The word service is very good, right? The word service is great. But what we see in actuality, thank you, Socio, what we actually see in reality doesn't feel that way. It doesn't seem to be applied in the manner that they are saying it should be applied. But I can only tell you what they're saying. Our experience is probably a lot different, right? But this is also how we can hold them accountable, right? If we start seeing and experiencing and then getting our receipts that marginalized communities are not experiencing equality or equitable treatment, we can go back right back to their guidelines, to their principles. Principle number 5 that says that they are a champion of inclusion. Right. So if we do want to start battling back with, you know, what person, what do you call him? Uncle TT? I think that's what you call him, Mr. Uncle Talk. All right. If we do want to battle back with them about things that are being suppressed or other activities that are happening to marginalized community content, we can take it right back to them. Thank you for the heart meme. All right, we can take it right back to them and say, hey, this is your principle and you are not upholding this principle. And we also have to make sure that within that context, as long as what we are doing isn't harming someone else, which being ourselves shouldn't harm anyone else, then we have the right to fight against them. That's the point. That's the importance of understanding these guidelines, understanding their principles, so that we have a leg to stand on when we do argue against them. Okay? We have to know what our rights are here on TikTok from their perspective, from their own words, so that we can argue against them. All right? Think about opinion. Okay? My opinion. If you know people who are incarcerated, many of the people who are incarcerated are the smartest, most intelligent lawyers you're ever going to find because they find every single way to use the letter of the law in their favor. Okay? They know policies up and down, left and right. And that's what we need to do here on TikTok. We things that we are finding unjust and unfair, we have to be able to use their words to justify our standpoint. Okay? Welcome in, Willie Tees. All right. So far we talked about five principles that TikTok has. All right. Prevention of harm, enabling free expression, foster civility, respect local context, and champion inclusion, which is okay. Number 6. Okay. We're so the champion the protection of individual privacy. Okay. So in their words, they are committed to protecting and respecting the privacy of the community and of individuals. Okay, who are shown or discussed in content on the platform. They seek to ensure that content shared on the platform does not expose anyone's personal information or invade their intimate privacy. That is something that we do see they do. When someone is being doxxed, they do take that down as much as possible, right? Or as quickly as possible. So if someone is doxing you, if someone's sharing your personal information and you did not authorize that share of personal information, right? TT does their best to try to get that down. We just have to play our part in making sure that we're reporting that. Okay. The eighth principle, okay, the eighth principle is being fair and just. And right now, I can hear all of y'all laughing. All right, I can hear you. All right, you may not be here in the room with me, in my room right here, but I can hear y'all laughing at that. I know, I can hear y'all. Okay. So, in their words, they're saying moderating millions of pieces of content each day is a complex effort. Not want to battle. It's a complex effort, and developing a trusted process to do so is foundational. Okay. We are committed to being impartial and evidence based, producing fair outcomes, giving notice of enforcement actions, and providing an opportunity to appeal. Okay? We're just going to take that at face value for what it's worth. Okay? So, TikTok, 8 guiding principles. Right? Principle 1, prevention of harm. 2, enabling free expression. 3, fostering civility. 4, respecting local context. 5, champion inclusion. 6, protect individual privacy. 7, providing transparency. Oh, I skipped number 7. Y'all didn't tell me I skipped number 7. Number 7, I totally skipped. Okay? Providing transparency and consistency. So they want everyone to know what their rules and standards are and how they apply them, which we see right here in the TikTok community guidelines. Okay. And then number 8, being fair and just. All right. So right now I'm going to stop for a break for you guys to ask any questions that you want. If you have questions that's easier to discuss on for my TikTok viewers, go ahead, jump up into a box and ask your question, or you can type your questions in the comments. I'm going to see over here on YouTube. We're going to go over here and check and see what you guys have over here. Thank you so much for viewing. Thank you so much for commenting, Crystal, over here on YouTube and getting that platform going for me. And you guys know, if you haven't subscribed to me over there, please go subscribe to me over on YouTube after the stream is done. Okay? So if you're learning something or getting a better understanding of something, drop a 1 in the chat and then let me know if you have any questions. All right. We're going to go from this point on. I want to answer questions. All right. Because the next topic, yay, King. Yes. Because the next topic, Willie Tees, thank you. Because the next topic that they have in their guidelines is youth safety and well being. And this is something that I do want to address because there's a lot of misinformation about what we can and cannot do with children, who can be on camera, who can be on live, and all of those things. So go ahead and type I'm ready. If you're ready to talk about youth safety and well being, go ahead and type I'm ready if you want to talk about youth safety and well being. All right. And I'm going to take a quick sip. Yep, go ahead. Let me get those questions for you. Let me get those questions. All right. And Mo's ready. Excellent, Mo. All right. And YouTube, this is where it stops with all my cool stuff. What about an older post that is at the bottom of your page? They don't care about that. What they do, um, when TikTok is looking at your content, especially if you're running that content check, right? They only look at the most recent 30 days. So if you have something that was flagged a long time ago, it's not going to affect that. The reason that's important is because if you're trying to do TikTok shop, or try to do brand deals, but especially TikTok shop, if you have any current violations in those 30 days, then you are not within good standing, and then you will not be able to operate your TikTok shop. Okay, so those most recent 30 days are the days that you have to focus on. If it's something that you posted 6 months ago, they're not even pushing out that content anymore. That's what TikTok does. They just keep doing the most recent things, even though they're delayed at this point. All right. Excellent question. All right. So something's beeping. I don't know. It's a heart puff. Heart puff. Like, what is beeping? That was a new sound for me. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the heart puffs, y'all. Yeah. So that's the same thing that King was asking earlier. I have to find it in the community guidelines what that number is because I've heard 90 days, I've heard 30 days, I've heard 60 days. So I want to get to that point where I'm giving you guys accurate information instead of all of us playing like a guessing game of what is actually true. And actually, you know what? Let me go ahead and do that in the search, right? When do violations drop off? Violations. If I could spell violation, that would be helpful. Okay, let's just do search for violations. Enforcement. Let's see. Let's see. Section reporting, notice, and appeals. Let's go to that one. There. Okay. Enforcement, account features, filing the rules can lead to actions on account. Okay. Let's go. Let's go, y'all. Let's go. What does Reese say? Big energy. Big energy. Externally searchers show search monetization comments. They are not giving us anything. That might be an article. All right. So if I can't find it here, you've had two within the last 10 days. I'm always worried. Yeah. Be careful. What I'm going to do, so I'm not having a lot of dead air, I'm going to have that in the back of my head, and I'll do a video on that because sometimes things are not directly in the community guidelines because they don't update the guidelines as often. They'll typically put out some type of blog post that has some of the updated information of any changes that they're making before they make an update to the community guidelines. So I'll take a look for that for you, and you and King and everyone on here, and get that information for you the next time I make a post. Okay, so violation, how long? Okay, all right. So look for a post for that tomorrow. I'll have that up for you within the next 24 hours. I'll have that post up for you. Okay, and I will tag you and King so that you guys can make sure you guys see it. So this will be Socio and King. Does anyone else want me to tag you in that post? Let me know. Speak now or forever hold your pee. Welcome in, KCM. Welcome in, everyone. If I did not greet you, I do apologize. I start talking and I stop paying attention to what's going on. Mo, okay. King, Mo. Hey, KCM. Welcome in. Welcome in. Okay. All right. So I got Q3, and let's go ahead and go back and talk about our youth, our children. And let's refresh that because apparently, there we go. All right. Hello, hello, hello. We are still covering community guidelines for TikTok. We're going through the very first part of the community guidelines, So far, what we talked about is an overview of TikTok and what their three categories are of or the three types of moderations that they do. The three type of moderations that they give you if you are just coming in are removing content that doesn't belong. So that's the most severe. They're going to take your content away. All right. Restricting any content that's not suitable for youth. And then the last one is making it ineligible for the FYP. All right. If you want a stronger description of those when this stream is over, I will upload it to the Tube of You. And it actually should be super fast because I'm also streaming simultaneously on the Tube of You. So you guys should be able to get this information very, very, very soon. Okay. All right. So we're going to go ahead and talk about the youth safety and well-being, because as I was saying, there are lots of different information going around about who can be on TikTok, who can't be on TikTok, who can be on camera, what age you have to be on camera, who can be on live stream, who, all of the things, right? And this is only for TikTok general, right? We're not talking about the rules of TikTok Shop, all right? Two different things. TikTok Shop has their own more strict rules. That's not a correct grammar. TikTok Shop has their own stricter rules when it comes to children and videos and live streams altogether. So this is just for the general creator and live host, okay? So they're trying to make the space safe for those who are 18 and over, but they do allow children as young as 13 to be on the platform. Welcome in, Keto Love. Right, so they do allow children as young as 13 to have an account. When someone, thank you for the heartbeat. When that 13-year-old, okay, so 13, yeah, when that 13-year-old logs on, they're going to have additional restrictions placed on their account. Okay, so as they say, there are different in the United States. There's a separate 13 and under TikTok, or under 13. There's a separate under 13 TikTok experience that offers additional safeguards, including restricted interactive features, content. Oh, okay. It's not saying under 18. There's a separate 13 TikTok experience that offers additional safeguards, including restricted interactive features, content suitability assessments from Common Sense Networks, and a dedicated privacy policy. If you create a new account in the United States with a birth date that shows you're under the age of 13, you'll automatically enter into this experience. So yeah, they do. Why? Why do they allow under 13 to do that? Okay, I digress, y'all. I digress. Okay, so 13-year-olds must have 13-year-olds in order can have an account. There are additional age limitations based on local law in some regions. In the United States, if you're under 13, there's a completely separate platform experience for those children. Okay? We don't have to agree with it, right? It is what it is. Okay? So if they learn, except the kids are putting exactly right, there's really no check until they try to go live and they're trying to lift them, put their ID up there, right? Which is how we keep ended up with kids in our streams. So they still need to work on that part because, yeah. Or even if it's not the kids, it's the parents who don't want to do all the extra steps and they just let the kids have an account under their parents' name, which is even worse. And in my opinion, right? Every time I talk to you guys, I'm going to tell you what is TikTok and what is my opinion so that we are not conflating the two. All right. So if you learn that someone is below the minimum age to have a TikTok account, they will ban that account. Okay. If you believe you're incorrectly banned, you can appeal. All right. So let's drop down. All right. So completely different experience for those who are under 13. 13, you can have an account, but then there's another age criteria, 16. Okay. So citing minimum age requirements for access to certain program features, including being 16 years old and older to have your content be eligible for the FYP. So if you are 16, your content can be on the FYP. Oh, this same number has called me about 5 times. I don't know who they are. Okay. All right. So if you're 16, you can be on the FYP. Your content can be on the FYP. All right. Then, if you're under 18, there's still restrictions that we can put on for those who are under 18. Okay. So those are basically the multiple levels. You have under 13 who has their own platform experience. Think of it similar to FB. If you guys have kids on FB, where they have a whole different experience for FB Messenger for children. All right, that's not related to this standard page. So there's a whole different experience for. There's a whole different experience for under 13. Then there is certain restrictions placed on children between ages of 13 and 16. And then 16, you could be on FYP with some more limited restrictions. And then 18, you have full access. Okay. So that is our kids. What other questions or comments do you have? Because we have a couple pages on here. All right. But I want to see, make sure you guys have any questions. Okay. So things that are topics that are restricted to 18 years and older. So if you do not have your post or your live set to 18 years and older, you can get these restrictions on your content. Okay. If your content is not labeled 18 and over, so we all know how to make our content in our live posts restricted to 18 and older. Drop a 1 in the chat if you drop a 2 in the chat if you do not know how to make your post limited to 18 and above. Drop a 2 in the chat if you do not know how to post or make your content 18 and above. Right? 2 in the chat. If I don't see any 2s, I'm gonna go. So you all know how to make our videos and our live streams restricted to only 18 and above. Awesome. Great. Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. Okay. So we're not going to go through, I'm not going to read all of this to you. All right. We're adults. You guys can go and find it, but I will give you guys some highlights. Topics that are restricted to 18 and above. If it's under 18. Okay. So the thing with battles, great question. The thing with battles, you don't have to unrestrict it. If both people who are battling has their audience set to 18 and above, then it's not a big deal. Okay? However, if one person has their audience restricted and the other person doesn't, then you can't request each other. Okay? So that's why the agencies and everyone says, as a rule of practice, to make it unrestricted, just so that you're not having the issues connecting with each other. But if you both have the same settings, then it doesn't matter. Okay. So that's the little thing I figured out. All right. Good question. Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. Chocolateville, Tilly. All right. So things post and lies that you should place at 18 and over, that you should restrict in your settings to 18 and over. Disordered eating and body image. All right. So promoting weight loss, promoting ideal body types, things like that. If you're talking about anything like that, your post needs to be 18 and over. Okay. Dangerous activity and challenges. Well, you know why they put that in there. Who can tell me why they probably put the dangerous activities and challenges as an 18 and over rule? I'll give you guys 2 guesses. What are some of the challenges that we saw over the last 5 years that kids were doing? Thank you for joining the team. Welcome in, Shemaya. Nope, I completely butchered that. Let's try that again. Shaima, is that better? Shaima. Yes, so our Tide Pop kids. Yes. Also the ice bucket challenge. Do y'all remember the ice bucket challenge? Okay. And wasn't there like a water drinking challenge where you had to drink as much water as possible? How much can you drink? And a lot of people were getting really sick from that. So if you're doing ridiculous challenges that can be harmful, then that needs to be restricted to 18 and above. Yes, and the cinnamon eating. I mean, we could probably keep going down the list, right? Yeah, if you have too much water, you could actually put yourself in a type of toxicity. Thank you. Whoops. Thank you for the team bracelets. Thank you for the cheer me ups. I appreciate you. All right. So yeah, if you drink too much water, like if you're drinking like gallons and gallons, ice bucket, it was dangerous because some of the kids were actually like out in the winter cold air. They're dumping the ice buckets on themselves and getting hyperthermia because they were going inside. I mean, it's you know, kids. They don't think about everything, right? Which is why we had to restrict some of these things to 18 above, and even that sometimes doesn't stop it. We can only do what we can do. If the kids or their parents allow them to break the rules, then there's nothing we can do. All we can do is do the best that we can to protect the younger kids, to protect under 18. But if they find a way around it, I never thought that would be dangerous. Yeah, you got to think about hypothermia and different things that they were doing. And then the outrageous things that they're starting to do with it, like starting to like throw it at people. It was wild. Okay. Nudity and body exposure. Right. So I will read this one because it's only one sentence. Showing semi nudity of adults, such as wearing only nip covers or underwear that does not fully cover the majority of the buttocks. So if you're exposing a lot of your skin, make sure you have it 18 and above. Now that makes more sense because I don't know how much y'all have been listening to me in my lives and stuff, but I'm like sometimes late at night I be seeing stuff, y'all. I be seeing I be seeing a lot of skin, starting like 11 p.m. And I'm like, how are they getting away with it? That's why if they're setting it for 18 and above, you can do that. All right. It's not quite OnlyFans, but it's pretty close. Okay. Um, Sexually suggestive content. Okay. So this is probably the reason that one of my more recent videos from yesterday has been restricted from the FYP. Yeah, you grew up. So this is probably why mine is from FYP. Good question, Mo. If we're looking specifically at the guidelines, okay? If you're covered, you should be fine. However, if your if your shirt, if your tank top is so sheer that you can see everything underneath it, it's going to fall in this 18 and over guidelines. All right. So yes, that's some of the rules that people have generalized. Oh, you can't wear tank tops. But if your body is covered, maybe you're wearing a bra or a cami or something underneath it, you should be fine. But if it's something that's so sheer that you can basically just see everything underneath it, then that is the problem. Okay. Yeah. So you should be fine. You should be absolutely fine. Okay. Um. So yeah. So if you guys go to my potency wood video, I'm pretty suggestive in that one. And yeah, it hit it got restricted. It's sitting on 76 views for after 24 hours. I figured that was going to happen, but I was so how do you do that? Okay. So, King, when you create your post, all right? After you create the post and you get on the page where you can put in your description and your hashtags and all of that, underneath that, you can decide whether or not it's an ad. You can add a link, and then you go down to audience. And usually our default is set to everyone. Click on that, and it will say subscribers only, friends only, or restrict to 18 plus. All right. And you want to click on that. Do I need to repeat that? All right. So after you make your post, when you get to the page where you write the description, I don't know how new it is, but it's been there for a little while. I know these guidelines were put into effect in May, so it should have been around since May. But it's also not something that we look for, so it could have been there for longer. But I know I didn't start seeing it until probably a few months ago. But that's just me conjecturing. But with these guidelines coming out on like May 24th, it's when they were enacted. The 18 and over restriction should have been there before these guidelines were officially enacted. Okay. Um, Shocking and graphic content. I knew before it was either only friends or only you and everybody. Yeah. So yeah, probably in the last like 6 months they've made it 18 and over because I've seen it a few times because I've been going there trying to switch things around, and I was like, oh, this is interesting because you can do it for lives, but yeah, now you can do it for posts. Shocking and graphic content. So showing human or animal blood, showing extreme physical fighting. Yes, you can change it. Yes, you can change it after you post. So same thing, you go down to privacy settings and then you should be able to change the restrictions. I'm 99% sure you can after you post. No, King, that is what this is for. This is Q&A, right? I'd rather be answering your questions so that you're learning and benefiting from this post, from this stream, versus me just reading to you guys, right? So please ask all the questions that you need because what I want for all of us is to thrive. I want us to succeed. I want us to grow. So if that means that we have to answer questions all night, we're answering questions all night. I told you I was a professor for almost 20 years. My career was answering questions. Thank you, Coach Tiff, for Daily Heart Me. Okay, welcome in, welcome in. Exactly, Mo. Yes, and the whole TikTok thing. You're creating engagement as well and learning. Yes, thank you for the bracelets, Crystal. Thank you so much for staying in the YouTube and giving me a viewer in the YouTube. I don't have a lot of I don't have a lot of subscribers on YouTube. I think I have like 16. So having one person watching this live over there is still fantastic for my metrics over here. Okay. And thank you guys so much. We have 7 lovely people in here, and I've seen people come in and out. So thank you so much. If you're gleaning anything from this conversation, please drop a 1 in the chat so I know that I'm giving you guys something that is worthwhile, that's beneficial, that you can actually use and help to improve your platform. Okay. Yes, I love seeing the ones, you know. Now, one day my heart will be broken when I don't get a response. Right? Uh, so sometimes we shouldn't ask questions if we don't want the answers. But thank you, you guys are giving me the answers I want. Okay. Um, so shocking and graphic content, which is like we said, showing human and animal blood, showing extreme physical fighting. I mean, how many times have we seen that? Or showing graphic and potentially distressing footage of events that are in the public interest to view, but such as clashes with law enforcement or aftermath of a BOMBING or natural disaster. Okay. So again, they're not saying that you can't show this stuff, that you can't post this stuff. If you do, make sure you set your post settings to 18 and above. Okay. Next is gambling, 18 and above. Showing or glamorizing gambling or gambling like activities, such as filming someone gambling or making any general positive statements about gambling. Basically, if you're doing anything related to gambling, just make it 18 and above. I know someone, I think most of you guys know her, but I won't put any names out there just in case. Someone in my circle got a 7-day banana, 7-day ban because she was streaming solitaire, the solitaire game, on her phone. So you know how if you have mobile gaming, you can stream your games from your phone, and some of those games, you're earning money, big coins while you're playing, right? Or you're competing against other people and winning coins. They see that as gambling. And then don't let an ad come up in the middle of your gameplay that's trying to, that's also glorifying, the gambling. Right. So all she was doing was playing a solitaire game. And yes, it's the simplest things. So that's why we have to be aware. And, you're like, oh my goodness, that's so silly. But even if we think it's silly, oh yay, I got a second viewer on YouTube. Woohoo! Thank you all so much. Okay. Even if we think it's the simplest thing, kids are still super impressionable. And that's why if you are in doubt, see you guys later. All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much for stopping in. I appreciate you. So when in doubt, just set it 18 and above. just set it 18 and above, okay? Because frankly, I really personally, okay, Ravi's opinion versus TT guidelines. In my opinion, I really don't need anyone under 18 engaging in my content anyways. I'm not comfortable with that. I'm not comfortable being friends with people under 18 on any social media platform. So, but that's just my personal stance. Even certain words we can't say no more because the content will get flagged. Yeah, so we'll talk about the words. There's some words, yes, there's some words that that violate one of those 8 principles that we're talking about. Okay. So that's why there's never going to be an actual list that TT provides us of the words that we can and cannot say. But when you hear of another word that we cannot say, I need you guys to use your critical thinking and try to see if that word makes sense underneath one of the 8 principles of why you can't say that, or is it just someone making up another rule to get some clicks and traffic? Okay. Like I said last week, the rule that someone posted and it went viral, I put in your description, you put in your description 25 and over. Good. The rule that someone posted last week that went viral that said that you cannot thank your followers when they give you gifts in lives, that is inaccurate. Okay? There is no reason in this world that TikTok would not want us to acknowledge the gifts that are being said. And if you go to the TikTok Creator Academy, after you sign up and they send you to the page with all the videos, there's a video when you get your live access. In the video, in the live access, it says, how do you interact and engage with your viewers on live? And they specifically say, when you receive a gift from someone in your live, you should say their name when you thank them and list that specific gift that they gave you. Okay? So when you're hearing some of these random things that don't make sense and you want to roll your eyes, more than likely it's just someone making stuff up. Okay? So in TikTok's training themselves when we're watching these videos, they want us to acknowledge the gifts. They want us to acknowledge the person sending the gifts, because as we acknowledge people, right, and we show our appreciation, that encourages people to continue giving gifts. What happens when we as live hosts get gifts? TikTok is at least 50% of it. If we don't acknowledge people, we're not encouraging people to give us gifts, that means TikTok is not going to make any money. All right. So when I say I want you guys to start using your critical thinking, thank you for the third person to be on my YouTube live stream. When I say that I want you guys to start using your critical thinking for some of these rules that come around, that's what I'm talking about. If it doesn't even make sense to you, it probably isn't a real rule. Okay. All right. So the last subject matter that you need to place at 18 and above, if you post it, is anything to deal with alcohol, tobacco, and drugs. So, discussing drugs or other regulated substances, um, as long as the substances are not being used or shown. Okay, so you can talk about the drugs, right? You can talk about the drugs. You can talk about regulated substances, but you cannot show them on screen and you cannot be using them on screen. Okay? If you're doing that, if you're talking about that, set that to 18 and above. Hey, Dila, welcome in. Okay? Showing the consumption of excessive amounts of alcohol by adults. If you're showing excessive amounts of alcohols being consumed by adults, you have to put it 18 and above. What does that tell you guys? Tell me what that means to you. Tell me what that means to you. Yes, it's funny because all the code words called applesauce and gardening, exactly, right? That's one. What else does that tell you? Showing the consumption of excessive amounts of alcohol by adults. That tells you that we can drink alcohol. This is my interpretation, but we gotta make it 18 and above, right? And if you're showing people getting wasted, it has to be 18 and above. Okay? Now, the alcohol could be a regulated substance. So I'll still tread lightly and not go with drinking on screen, but they can in other countries. Welcome in, Lillian. All right. So discussing drugs or other regulated substances is allowed as long as the substances are not being used or shown. So those are substances. But then showing the consumption of excessive amounts of alcohol by adults have to be restricted to 18 and above. Thank you for those kangaroos, Lillian. Okay. So we can talk about alcohol, we can drink alcohol, but put it 18 and above. Okay. Promoting tobacco products. If you're promoting tobacco products, put it 18 and above. If you're showing the consumption of tobacco products by adults, put it 18 and above. And if you're promoting alcoholic products, put it 18 and above. So that leaf is a substance. Yes. Hey, welcome in, Empress Voice. Yes. So that leaf is a substance. You can talk about it. Okay. You can discuss it. You just can't show it or use it. But if you're talking about it, set that post or that live to 18 and above. All right. All right. So, what questions do we have? That is all that we have right now for youth safety and well being. We have been on for about 1 hour and 8 minutes. So, what questions do you guys have for this portion? Because, we're not going to get through all the guidelines today, but if you have specific questions, I'll be happy to see if I can look them up quickly for you or I can write down the answers. So, you You can show the consumption of tobacco products by adults as long as it's listed 18 and above. Now, this is for content. The rules might be a little different for live. So let's put that caveat out there. So if we're just talking about posts and not lives, showing the consumption of tobacco products by adults is allowed if it's set to 18 and above. Okay? So can you start to see how maybe some of the extra rules that we're putting on ourselves is coming from a misunderstanding of what the actual guidelines are? So, yes, if you have an unrestricted post and you're doing all these things, yeah, you're going to get in trouble. But if you restrict it, thank you for the heart puff, heart puff. But if you restrict it and you fall within these guidelines, you're going to be fine. Okay. So we're making things a lot harder for ourselves than it needs to be because of a of not having a full understanding of those guidelines. And YouTube, I am not completely ignoring you on purpose. And yours, they said, oh yeah, it just okay. So Crystal's asking YouTube about the video that I had about potency wood that has been restricted. And yes, it actually said because of strong suggestive content. So I said the word would a little too many times, in my opinion. I guess that's my guess. Um, Crystal, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Crystal. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Monique, thank you so much for coming in, Monique. Thank you, you're in both places. Thank you so much. It's I'm trying to figure out the best way to do both of these screens, and I'm going to get better as I go along. So thank you guys for being patient with me trying to do a simulcast, so I can learn how to pay attention to both of the streams. It'll make it so much easier if TikTok allowed us to integrate TikTok into these other platforms. Is there different places for live versus video on versus TikTok? Why do I keep saying tick 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 tock? Yes. Um, so right now, this is what I'm reading is content. And if you just do a simple Google search or internet search for TikTok community guidelines, it's going to take you to where I am now with all of these principles. Okay. Then, if you want to do live, you have to do a search for TikTok live rules. And those aren't really going to be, some of it's going to be written down, but most of those are going to be videos. And then, if you want something with the TikTok shop, you have to do a search for TikTok shop guidelines, and that's going to take you to a different set of rules. So they do make it not as convenient to find everything, but basically they're putting it where you're most likely going to look for it. So if you are looking for live rules, you're going to go to the live tab, go to settings, and look for the rules related to live or going to the live creators academy. If you're on TikTok shop, then you're going to be over into your manage your TikTok shop area, and then the rules for TikTok shop are going to be over there. All right. And then for general guidelines, you're going to be in your regular profile. You're going to go up to settings. You're going to go scroll all the way down. You're going to click on help, and then all the different guidelines are going to come up, and you can do a search for it that way. All right. That is convolutive. So convoluted. So I just go to the good old Google and do a search, and it takes you right to the page on TikTok where all the guidelines are for each of the different topics that you're searching for. Okay. So did I answer your question, Crystal? I hope so. What other questions do you guys have? Okay. So if you're looking at these community guidelines, okay, and you did the Google search and you're on the page, I've only covered in an hour the first 3 bullets that they have. Okay. I covered the overview, the community principles, and youth safety and well being. Okay. So next week, I will cover safety and civility, mental health and mental and behavioral health. And I'll stop there because I'm not sure how long those are. And I know I don't want to lecture you guys for more than an hour and a half on any of these topics. I want to make sure you guys are synthesizing, processing, and learning this information. Okay. If you missed any of this, go to my YouTube. I'm not done talking to y'all. I'm just telling y'all where to go when this is all over. All right. Go to my profile, click on my YouTube, subscribe to my YouTube, and there'll be a replay up within the next 24 hours. 24 to 36 hours. It's a weekend, so 24 hours. Okay. What questions do you guys have, either on TikTok or YouTube? What questions do you guys have? Hi, 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 hi. If y'all can see what I'm seeing over here, it's hilarious. Okay. So if you learned something, go ahead and drop that one in the chat in both locations. I know Crystal keeps putting ones over here on YouTube. Y'all are putting ones over here on TikTok, and I appreciate all of that. Yes, Monique. Yes, Monique. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Now, this is time where you guys can ask questions, and I'll look for the answers because, again, I don't know any of this by heart, right? if I have a question, I go and look it up. So my gift is being able to see this information, synthesize it, and be able to explain it to you guys relatively simply in a way that everyone understands. Okay. So if you guys have a question, at this point, you guys can either come up into the boxes or you can type it into the chat. Don't know how to do co-hosting on YouTube yet, but it gives me the option. So I think I can invite you guys. Crystal, if you're over there, I'm going to try something with you, okay? I'm going to try something with you, Crystal. I have to invite a guest. So how do I invite a guest? Oh, invite a guest. Oh. Well, that's not easy. Okay, never mind, Crystal. I'm going to have to like copy paste the link to you and have you come. Actually, you know what? If you want to, Miss Crystal, there's a link. If you're on YouTube, there's the link. You might have to copy paste it into your stream. Click on it. But this is StreamYard, so you may not be able to do it. I don't know. Okay. All right. Other questions. Other questions. I see lots of ones in the chat. Thank you for all the ones in the chat. Messenger. Yeah. So I got to figure out how to do that. You guys all might have to get StreamYard, so we won't worry about that. That'll be a whole new lesson once I figure out how to use this platform. So the platform I'm using to simulcast for YouTube, I am using StreamYard because I was going to do a TriCast with Instagram, but my computer doesn't have a lot of RAM and it didn't like me trying to do YouTube and Instagram at the same time. But when I upgrade my computers, I'm going to have Instagram. I see you.
Oh, wow. I wasn't ready.
I see you.
Hi.
Yes.
Wow. How cool is this?
This is super cool.
Ravi.
Y'all
wow.
run over to YT real quick. This is super cool. All right. This is super cool.
That is so cool. And I love the banner. Your background is so hot.
Thank you so much. I'm going to turn it so they can hear you over there.
Okay.
Yes.
I had a question since we were talking about guidelines. I wasn't sure if there's anything that they say in the positive side, like how you get pushed out more or the FYP or anything.
So there is that. It's a whole different section that tells you it's I think they call it like tips to enhance your engagement. So it's not in the guidelines themselves, it's in a whole different part of TT.
Got it. Okay.
So I think I'll do that. I can add that next week as well. Or we can go back and forth between our tips and our community guidelines, right? Or if I do this for like 2 hours, the first hour can be the guidelines and the other hour can be the tips. So I appreciate like the questions because you guys are helping me construct like what I'm trying to do and what you guys need. And I just want to make sure that this platform is like super cool for everyone and that you guys are all benefiting from it. So I just want to always make sure that the information I'm providing is something that you guys want. Okay.
Yes.
This is
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, thank you so much. I can't wait to get monetized, y'all. Hey, y'all, I need like 25 more, 30 more people so I can stream YouTube from my phone, y'all. All right, so if y'all are listening to me.
Okay, we got 7 people over here. Everybody get over to YouTube. Thank you very much. YT, thank you very much.
Yes.
The background is hot. I love the colors. Everything is great. I love the intro on the video. I didn't get to tell you that before. You're crushing. And I got to talk to you about that because I can't figure it out.
Okay. Yeah. Hey, you get 30 minutes with me. Remember?
Hey, yes.
If you're a subscriber, you get 30 minutes with me.
Hey, y'all better go subscribe. My stickers in the chat are hot.
Oh, Monique, you're like, this is great. I see you. I got to make sure that I am subscribed to you over here on YT. This is so cool. You guys, I kind of like the YT streaming slightly better.
Yeah, a little bit. You're making me really love it, actually. And I follow a ton of crypto guys, and they only do the lives over there, and then they'll stream it to the Bird Place. So I've thought about that too,
Oh.
because somebody like you, perfect for then easy upload into the podcast, what have you.
Mm-hmm.
Hey. Sorry.
Mommy,
Thank you
you got
so
mom.
much. Right.
Thank you so much. All right, I'll
Oh,
drop
let's
you
keep
down.
cooking. Yes, thank you.
Thank you. All right, guys. So we figured that out pretty quickly. That's pretty cool, guys. You haven't posted on YT yet? Okay, that's good, Mo. See, now I have it so I can, now that I don't have the community guidelines blocking the chat, I can now see the chat on both screens. So I can talk to both. I can talk to everybody now. I'm so excited, y'all. Um, if y'all didn't know, I'm a techie person. I love technology. I love learning new things about technology. So this is real. I'm geeking out right now, y'all. Okay, I'm just geeking out because I'm having a blast doing this. All right. So what other questions do you guys have? What else do you want me to look up? I want to stay on for a little bit longer. I want to at least clock my 90 minutes in, but I won't hold you guys too long because I know we all have other lives. We have content to create. We have um, families to take care of. We have sleep to get. We have houses to clean. We have jobs to go to. Hopefully, you guys are not going to work tonight. I mean, it's Friday, right? So let me know what kind of questions you have. If you don't have any questions, you have no life. TT is life. Come on, TT is life. And soon it's going to be YT is life. Okay. So um, I'm totally. Hey, Roswell, welcome back. Welcome back. All right. So I'm totally digging this, and when I can get to this simulcast to Instagram and Twitch and X, which means I'm going to need a better computer for that. You guys, you're going to see me all over the place. You're going to see me all over the place. Okay. So if you're just coming in, okay, we just finished our discussion of the first three sets of the bullet points of the TikTok community guidelines. So we discussed the overview. Okay, the overview basically tells us the three types of moderation that TikTok has for us. Those three types of moderation is removing content that's not allowed. So if you do something that you're not allowed, they're going to remove that content altogether. Okay. The second type of moderation is they're going to restrict content that's not suitable for youth. All right. So if you don't have it set to 18 and above, hey, Rhonda, welcome in. If you don't have it set to 18 and above, they're going to restrict it and make it only for 18 and above for you. Okay. But you don't want them to do it for you. You want to do it yourself. Okay. Hi. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the heart puff. Heart puff. All right. And then the third type of moderation is making it ineligible for the For You page. Okay. So the FYF is the For You following. All right. What we talking about? We are talking about all the different guidelines, and I'm reading them from the TikTok community guidelines on rules that we need to follow and actually understanding what the rules are and not just following rumors. Thank you for the heart me. All right. And not just following the rumors. So those are the three types of content moderation. The most severe moderation is the removal of the content that's not allowed. All right. The next severe is restricting anything that's not suitable for youth. So you have to set it to 18 above so you don't get that restriction. All right. The last one is things that are not as serious, but they're still against the community guidelines, so they're not going to push it to the FYP. All right. For example, if you look at my potency wood video that I put up yesterday, I did not set it to 18 and above. It has a lot of strong innuendos, so it has been restricted. Okay, so I only have like 70 views on it because it's been restricted. So those are the three categories or the three types of content moderation. Then we discussed the community principles. The community principles are broken into three categories: balancing harm, prevention, and expression. Okay. Two, embracing human dignity. Three, ensuring our actions are fair, or ensuring their actions are fair. Okay. And when you're looking at those different themes, the 8 principles are centered on those themes, and they use um, data and information and rules from the UN Guiding Principles on Behavior and Human Rights, the International Bill of Human Rights, the Convention of the Rights of Children, and the Santa Clara Principles. So those are the different sources that they use to inform their these community guidelines. Thank you so much for the roses, Rhonda. Thank you for the rose. So good. Rooster Girls, thank you for the heart me. Thank you so much. Mindset, welcome back in. Welcome back in. So again, those 8 principles. I'm not going to go through them all again. If you want a detailed explanation of these, make sure you go to my YT in the next 24 hours after I upload this stream and I go into this big detail. But those 8 principles are preventing harm, and that's the number one. All the other principles don't matter. If you violate, if you're harming someone, everything else doesn't matter. All right. So prevention of harm, enabling free expression, fostering civility, respecting local context, championship of inclusion, protecting individual privacy, provide transparency and consistency, and be fair and just. Thank you so much for hitting that life goal. All right, who crushed that life goal? The crushers of the life goal are Brewster's Girl, Sociopeep, and Crystal Creates, Bambi Mama, and Tara. Nice. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate you guys so much. Woo! I need my applause. No, I need my applause. I need to push a button of some sort. All right. So let's go ahead and do some since we're getting a little spicy now. So it's getting late in the day. So we're gonna go a little spicy. Okay. All right. Or no, we're gonna go some finger hearts. I thought I hit spicy. All right. So welcome in, welcome in. So those are the 8 things. And then we talked about the welfare and safety of children. And we learned that TikTok does have a separate platform for children under the age of 13. They have a whole different experience for children under the age of 13. And then those who are 13 can make an account on TikTok, but they have extreme restrictions placed onto that account. Then, once kids are 16, their content can appear on the FYP. And then once they're 18, they have full access. Now, what other people brought up is the issue is that a lot of these kids change their date of birth to appear over 18, or their parents just go ahead and set up the account in their own name so they don't have to deal with all the restrictions. We can't help what other people do. We can't help what people do with their children, right? All we can do is follow the guidelines. If we're doing what we need to do to protect the children, it's up to the parents to do the other part and ensure that their children are following the rules that they need to follow, right? All right. So when we talk about protecting children, all right, and I'll just go through this really fast again. There are things that we can say and do on this platform, but we just have to make those posts 18 and above. Okay? Let me say it again. There are things that we can say and do, but we have to make sure the posts are set to 18 and above. And I'm going to repeat it because it's worth repeating this list, because this is where we get all of our misinformation of what we are allowed and not allowed to do. And it's based on an inaccurate understanding of what we can do as long as the posts are restricted. Okay? So the first one, the broad category is disordered eating and body images, right? So if we're talking about weight management, restrictive low calorie diets, using different types of steroids or weight gaining things, promoting ideal body types, we can do that. We can say that. We can promote that. But you have to put 18 above on your post. If you don't know how to do that, when you create your post, when you get to the screen where you can do your descriptions, you're going to go down to visibility, where your default is probably either everyone or friends. It depends on what your default is, but that is where you're going to go. You're going to click on that visibility, and then you're going to make it for 18 and above. Okay? If you do that, you're protecting yourself. So then you can talk about these things. Hey, Bronsky, welcome in. Okay? So you can talk about different types of eating disorders. You could talk about ideal body types. You could talk about all of that stuff. Okay? The next category that you can have on it is a yes, you can, as long as it's restricted to 18 above, is dangerous activities and challenges. So we all pretty much summarize So visibility, make it for 18. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. You're welcome. You're welcome. All right. All right. So those challenges. So if you guys remember the Tide Pod challenge, if you remember the ice bucket challenge, if you remember the challenge where they had to drink a lot of water, those challenges can still happen. You can still have those posts, right? YouTube and TikTok, you guys can have it. Hey, Bronsky, all right? But you just have to set it to 18 and above, okay? Nudity and body exposure, all right? You can have almost naked people as long as it is placed to 18 and above. So specifically, they say the showing of semi-nudity of adults, such as wearing only nip-nip covers or underwear that does not fully cover the majority of the buttocks, is acceptable. You just have to set it to 18 and above. Thank you for the heartbeat, Angie. Okay. Someone asked about tank tops, that they heard that they can't have tank that you can't wear tank tops. And again, it's that context. So when you talk about the community principles, it's that context. If your tank top is so sheer that you can see the things underneath it, you need to set it to 18 and above. All right. Otherwise, if you're just wearing a regular tank top, you're wearing a bra or whatever, you're absolutely fine. All right. So when I talk about using your critical thinking to think about these rules that we can and cannot do, you have to make sure you're going back to these community guidelines, back to these principles, back to these categories to have a better understanding of why we can and cannot do certain things, or under what context and circumstances we can do these things. Okay. So the next one, showing shocking and graphic content. So blood, whether it's human or animal. All right. Extreme physical fighting, distressing footage of events. So, all the police things that we see. If we see like natural disaster aftermath, we can show those, but we have to set it to 18 and above. All right. I'm going to keep repeating that. Gambling. You can show gambling as long as it's set to 18 and above. And I'll say anything that you can even think is tangentially related to gambling, just be safe. Just set it to 18 and above. I told those who were in here earlier that there was someone who's just playing solitaire, but the solitaire game that they're playing for their mobile streaming had like the collection of money at the top, or you're competing against someone, and TT deemed that gambling, and they restricted that person's they banana that person's account for 7 days. So if you're in doubt, just set it to 18 and above, right? So anything that's, whether it's playing cards, whatever it is, set that to 18 and above just to be safe, okay? Now, my favorite one, I spent a lot of time on this next one. I'm going to spend time on this one again. Alcohol, tobacco, and drugs. If your posts are set to 18 and above, you can discuss drugs and other regulated substances. What you can't do is show that substance on screen, and you can't use that substance on screen. Okay? So you can discuss drugs, you can discuss other regulated substances, you just can't use or show it. Okay? You can show the consumption of excessive amounts of alcohol by adults. You can do that. Yes. Yeah, you can. But not on this live, because I didn't restrict it to 18 and above, right? Because I forgot to click the button. Okay. But yes, if your posts are 18 or 18 above, you can discuss it. It says it right here in their guidelines. And if they restrict you, that's why I said before, you have to know what your rights are, because it says right here, you can discuss it and other regulated substances as long as the substances are not being shown or used. Okay. If you're just joining us, I'm reading directly from the TikTok community guidelines that was last updated in May of this year. Okay. So this is the most recent guidelines. Okay. So you can show the consumption of excessive amounts of alcohol by adults. You can promote tobacco products. You can show the consumption of tobacco products by adults. And you can promote alcoholic products. Okay. You can do all of that as long as you're set to 18 and above. Okay? So if you all of us going, "Oh, I can't say this, I can't say that." No, if you don't have it set to that, then yes. If you don't have your post restricted, then you can't talk about it. You can't say you're going to get in trouble. But if you set it to 18 and above, you can talk about it. Now, I'm only talking about posts. Before next week, I'll go through and make sure the same rules apply to live. I am 95% that the same rules apply to live because we talked about it last week. And it says, as long as you're following the guidelines and you talk about all these different restrictive things, you just have to set your lives to 18 plus. But I will verify that for you and make sure that it's accurate. So for now, still be a little cautious and I'll validate and verify that information for you and give you guys a concrete answer. I'm making a post. I'm making a post in the next 24 hours that talks about violation strikes, how long they stay on, and things like that. So I'm going to get this question answered for you. I'm going to kind of put that in the same post or the post right after that, so we can have this information as soon as possible, so that we're not waiting a whole week for me to figure out the answer and give it to you. Okay. So the next 24 hours, I will have answers to these questions so that we can have our freedom back in the way that we speak on live. Okay? Okay. So, was this information helpful for you guys? Actually, you know what? Throw a key in the chat if this was helpful for y'all. Welcome in, welcome in. Throw a key in the chat if this was helpful for y'all. Because we're going to represent those keys, y'all. We're going to represent those keys. And let me know. Okay, YouTube, I'm coming back to you. I covered the chat up again. So if you, and that's, I'm double checking because it says, Crystal, where did it go? It says, you can show the consumption of excessive amounts of alcohol by adults. In my educated interpretation, if you can show the consumption of excessive amounts of alcohol by adults, you can drink alcohol, at least on your post. I'll get that answer for the lives. Okay? Thank you for the keys. Thank you for the slots. Look at y'all. I appreciate y'all. Okay? So there's a lot of things. Now I know some people are saying that you can or cannot do things because of their experience. And my educated guess is that people who did get in trouble for these things did not have their post set to 18 and above. Right, everything's about post right now. Yes, right now everything's about post. I want to double check for lives. I do not want to give you guys misinformation. I'm about 95% sure this also applies to lives, but I will double check. I know this lives are a little bit more restrictive. Okay, so I will double check. Because I show up on your videos all the time. Exactly, like in my videos, I'm always drinking not always. I used to always drink a glass of wine. I haven't had wine in a while, right? So yeah, so right now this only applies to post. I will clarify this for lives in the next 24 hours when I make a post. Okay, guys? All right. So for now, still kind of practice the safety that we've been practicing on lives. And then I'll clarify some of this for you guys in the next 24 hours in a couple of posts. Okay. What other questions do you guys have? And that's why I said, like, I stopped there because this is a lot of information to absorb. So next week we're going to go over through some more of these guidelines, but then we're also going to talk about some of the ways that TikTok tells us that we can enhance or increase our engagement. I saw that you were still live and streaming like right before I came on, and I thought you had something you had to do at 4 o'clock, and like, why is he still streaming? So you need to get some sleep, Ronsky. You need to get some sleep. Don't have us yelling at you. Okay, get some sleep before you go to Carlos tonight. Okay. Yeah. So everything's all right. Okay. So making sure I got all the comments. Oh, you didn't. Okay. I'm sorry. So what other questions or comments do you guys have? What else do you guys need? What else do you guys want to share? It's Friday, y'all. Are y'all gonna get turned up? Look at that. You guys almost got me to 25K. Can we get to 25K before I close out on TT? Can we get to 25K? I would appreciate that. That'll make me so happy to get to 25K in about an hour and a half. That'll make my night, y'all. Seriously, that'll make my night. Oh, yeah, I know. It's Friday. Only reason I know it's Friday because I don't have to get up and take put my kid on the bus in the morning. Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in, everyone. So if you're just coming in, we're finishing up our conversation about TikTok rules, TikTok guidelines. Definitely getting the wine out today. Oh, OMG. Yes. See, I like this. All right. So um I forgot what I was going to say, but make sure if you're just coming in, we just talked about the TikTok guidelines about things that you can and cannot do. We went through like first three bullet points or first three pages in the TikTok community guidelines. So if you missed that, make sure you're going to my profile. You are clicking on my tube of why, okay? And you are going and liking and subscribing to my page because I'm going to upload this entire live stream to my YouTube in the next 24 hours. Okay. And with that, I will give you guys a bonus that we talked about last week. You can say, if you guys remember this, you can say, you can go to my YouTube as long as that's not the only thing you're doing in your lives. So for your TikTok shop lives, for your regular lives, there's a lot of, they don't want you to direct people off platform. They don't want you to direct people off platform permanently. And that's the only thing you're doing. So if this whole live was about how you need to go to my tube of why and subscribe there and I'll meet you over there, that we can't do. But I say, hey, if you want additional information and additional things for me to post that I cannot post here on TikTok because of the length, all right, you can find it over on a different platform. Go, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you know. But I'm still going to be doing things on this platform. So make sure you stay engaged with me on this platform. We can say that. Okay, we can do that. That will not get suppressed. As long as we're not sending their money off platform, right? And we talked about that on Monday about TikTok, about the TikTok shop lives. As long as you're not saying, hey, you can buy this product for cheaper off of this link. That is what we can't do. Okay. So there's still things. So when we say there's things that we can't, when people say there's things that we can't say, you have to understand the context in which that rule was created. Okay. If it's just general information, you're fine. If you're trying to do something and completely move people to another platform or trying to, you know, um, trying to cut out the middleman when it comes to the moolah, that's when it's going to be problematic. All right, y'all. Look at that. We got to 26K. And even though YouTube, even though you guys can't see it, y'all are getting some claps too. Okay. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Everyone's getting claps all over the place because we are excited. So make sure you guys, if you do subscribe to my YouTube, please like share that with your other people. I'm trying to at least minimally get to 50 subscribers on YouTube so that I can also stream YouTube from my phone. But ultimately, my big goal is to get to 500 subscribers so I can start doing the small monetizing, such as getting gifts in the lives for YouTube. So at YouTube, at a thousand or at 500 subscribers and 3,000 watch hours, we can get monetized in our lives on YouTube. So that is the goal. So even if you're just going to YouTube, clicking on my video, letting it run, you walk away, I'll take that. Okay. I mean, I offer really good information, but if you don't have time to watch it, just click it and walk away. Um, for YouTube to get monetized just on the live, so you can get like the gifts, it is 500 subscribers and 3,000 hours of watch time. Okay. To get monetized completely on YouTube, where you can put ads and things like that and get monetized based on your views of your post, that's 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time. So the name is, hold on, that's an excellent question because I got all kinds of names. If you just search for Ravi Ravenclaw, just like my username, my at name is on here, you can do it. Or if you go to my profile, there is a YouTube button in my profile, and it'll take you right to my YouTube page. My cousin was just talking about letting it run. Exactly. Yes, thank you, Crystal. All right, so yeah, because that's what I've been doing to people. Just kind of, especially if they need views, I've been letting things run. I have multiple YT accounts, so I kind of just let things run on my other accounts. Um, because the whole goal is to get monetized, but I don't want to just cheat my way there. I am still trying to provide you guys with information that is useful, entertaining, and things like that. And I will have a podcast over here on YouTube too. Okay. So, but my TikTok lives, right? We're going through community guidelines. We're talking about our Money Mondays. When we're talking about our topic Tuesdays. When we're talking about our Win Wednesdays. When we're talking about our Thursday Thursdays, and then now our Find Out Fridays. That's still going to be on TikTok. That's still going to be on TikTok. All right. We're going to have those live streams on TikTok. Hey, Blue, welcome up. You're good. Oh, okay. Mm. Yep, that makes total sense. So yeah, I thought I was being sneaky by having multiple devices and multiple emails and multiple browsers. But what I've been doing is I had like one of my emails, one of my YouTubes that I just leave it on for everybody. So now I know. Thank you for the information because we don't want to get in trouble. Ah, that that makes so much sense now because I was like, why aren't my numbers going up? That makes Chris, I'm just seeing all of these. Okay. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. Oh, so we can't hear the TikTok guest at the moment, so you might need to reboot it. Okay. Yes. Thank you, YouTube. Thank you, YouTube. So so you guys can hear what the TikTok guests are saying. So basically what the TikTok guests are saying is that 1 second, Lance. What TikTok guests are saying is basically that you cannot just run a loop on a video. The video only counts one time a day from that same MAC address. And if you're using multiple devices, it's coming from the same MAC address, regardless if you're using multiple YouTube accounts, multiple devices. It's not going. YouTube knows when you're trying to run up the number, so just use one dedicated device to watch all of the videos. And then on Wednesday, if you guys go back to TikTok and you connect with LaRocca Blue, all right, LaRocca Blue 2, over here on TikTok, on Wednesdays, she does two YouTube tutorials on how to monetize, and she's going to show us how to connect, how to make it so that it'll be our own videos that we've created that plays automatically one after another while we're watching YouTube until we run out of that playlist, and then it'll take it to someone else that's close to our niche. Okay, is that a good summary, Blue? All right, she said that was a good summary. Okay, and then Crystal's asking about VPN over here on YouTube. VPN. So would VPN be a different address? Oh, hold on. What I'm going to do, I'm going to take my Bluetooth off so that YouTube can hear you. Hold on. All right, go ahead.
So when YouTube first started, it used to be the Wild Wild West, and they just, if the video ran, it counted as a view. And so people were getting famous, and that was more like when bot farms started, was because of YouTube. Because what people would do was create bot farms in the same location and just have the videos running. And so YouTube got hip to that. So all the algorithm code that fights against bot farms literally started on YouTube. So that's why a view only counts from, let's just say you watch it on your phone, and then you go back later at night and you watch it again. You're only going to get a count for one view. So if you want to watch the video from the same device, you have to make sure that there's a 24-hour window.
That makes sense. Thank you, Blue. Thank you so much, Blue. Perfect volume. Good. So in the future, until we can figure out how to put TikTok onto StreamYard, I'll just have my earbud out so you guys can hear each other.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to come up, but I just wanted, because I was...
No, you're
I heard
fine.
you say...
Correct misinformation. Like, no. Correct misinformation. That's what this live is for. Correct. When we're making mistakes right now, because remember the rules I was giving you was me being an expert in TikTok, not YouTube. So if I'm messing up YouTube stuff, let me know, and so that we're not perpetuating the misinformation.
The best thing with YouTube is networking, right? Anywhere where people can see your YouTube channel. Like, there was a time, just because I just had a coupon for it, that I just made little business cards with some random thing with my YouTube, and I kind of littered it in the real world. I wasn't promoting online. So then people were like, what is this random thing to a YouTube channel, right? So with any kind of channel or platform, you want to create a buzz, right? And so if your buzz is education, the cliffhangers, like when you're making videos, yes, you want to do an informational video, but you want to end your video with a question that people may really want to have answered, and you just leave that question out there, and then your next video is the answer to that question. So what are people going to do? Wait, what? Oh, I got to get the answer, so they're going to go to the next video, right? And that's why when people do like their little story times and stuff like that, or when people were doing like everyday second of the day vlogs on YouTube, they would always end it on a cliffhanger, like, we were just going somewhere, something was about to happen, and the video ended. and then people go to the next video. So basically, you just want, like anything, you want people to stay on your channel for as long as possible. And it kind of mindlessly happens, especially if you're good. I guess what I call cliffhangers is what Crystal or somebody else would call a hook. But instead of putting the hook at the beginning, you put the hook at the end. You gave them such a great time. They're in it, they're vibing, the video's going, and then you just, right when it's about to get to the pinnacle of good time, in the video. But that's another strategy that I go on with.
I love that. Thank you so much. Thank you. Excellent. Thank you so much. Well, you're welcome to stay up because boxes are open, y'all. So if y'all want to come up, YouTube, I think we're going to end the stream here on YouTube. So if you guys want to keep hanging out with me, come back over here to TikTok where we're going to have some more fun and some conversation. And again, if you want to learn more about TikTok rules and the different ways in which you can have your content enhanced, then come back to me next week. All right. See you guys later. Toodles for YouTube. And I think it should do something cool. Crystal, let me know if it does something cool on YouTube on your end.